May 6th, 2024 meeting. We'd like to welcome everybody to the meeting. And it has been established before. If you're not on the agenda, please refrain from speaking out. At this time, we'll go in a prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for allowing us to come here once more again to handle our city business, Lord God. And Lord, we're here to do just that, Lord God. We ask that you touch each and every one that's here, God. In your name's sake we pray. Amen. We'll stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First thing we'll have on the agenda is to approve the minutes for April 15th, 2024.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes. Second motion.
Any discussion? All in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
All not in favor by saying no.
Thank you.
Next we have on the agenda is the update on our library. You all should have some information in front of you in reference to our library. You should have the pictures and you should have an email printout from the trustee. Okay. Everybody have it? What this is the total cost. I mean, when you see the repairs, you see everything on your printout that happened to the library. You see all they had to do in these pictures. They've completed one side of the library, and they have to do to complete the other side of the library. So what the adjuster has done is he went in and asked Service Masters to give a total for the complete for everything, and the total cost for that was $57,432.47. Service Masters in turn sent a check for $38,142.36, which was supposed to be for the other side, but Service Masters was lower. They cut off some costs, so it was only $23,104.35. So out of that $38,142.36 that payment they sent us, we have to send them back $15,038.01.
So that was the overage.
Yes, that was the overage. And you see it shows on here, it breaks it down, the work that was performed by Service Masters, and then lists the grant funds provided by Middle Georgia Regional, because they paid that fund of $34,328.12, and you take that from the total, it ended up $23,104.35. So what we have to pay is the $23,104.35 to Service Masters once they finish doing what they have to do to complete it.
Okay, I've got a question. I've got the February 5th meetings and the documents that I pulled that we had from the library. And I've got where you stated the work was complete and the grant paid for it, and the amount was $38,142.36. I
That's
have it
what's
right
put
here.
here.
There's nothing on this paperwork about $57,432.
That was just what they gave to us to complete that side. So that's why the adjuster went back and asked how much it was gonna be for the entire thing. And so when they went back, and you see it on here, they paid the $34,328 Middle Georgia Regional. They paid that. It was complete from what they were gonna give. That was all they got to complete that. But the other side needed to be done. That's why we went back and see if the adjusters, they would, give us that to complete the other side. And so when the adjuster called Service Master, they wanted them to give a total of the entire thing. And what they did was subtract what Middle Georgia had already paid, and whatever the less amount was, that's what we was gonna pay them to finish it.
So why wasn't we even told about the $57,432.47? Cause it's not in none of this paperwork. that
We
have
just
signed.
got it, cause they just about to begin to work. So this is what I'm giving you.
Cause I went in the library the other day, and really besides the carpet and paint, which is upkeep of the building, is the only thing that really needs to be redone.
Are you a contractor?
No, I'm not a contractor,
Okay,
but
so
I work
the
with insurance.
But the mold was done, and did you see the,
The mold's
You
already
see-
completed.
no, what mold is completed?
You know they have not opened the library back up with mold in
The
it.
damage from the mold, the black in the ceilings, did you see that? Since you went over there and looked at it,
Yeah, I
did you
did
see
go
it?
there and look at it.
Did you
Looks
see
pretty
it?
good.
Did you see it? I gave you all the pictures.
Oh, I've got
It's
all
here.
the stuff right here.
Yeah, everything is here. And
Everything that
because
you
of that
stated in
mold,
the meeting, I've
and
got
because
right
of
here.
that mold, the damage from the mold, is what they're going back and they having to do the paint, repaint, and they're painting the ceilings, and they're doing the floors. They're having to take up all of that carpet.
Well, we weren't notified of any of that.
Were you all not notified? Council?
I know, you did say that they had to do the other part. the second
Okay.
side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I was just,
I think that, if my memory serves me correctly, that's why it was, the resubmission to claim the insurance was brought on the table, correct?
correct.
Right.
Okay, did you all have any more questions on that one? Okay, next on the
Well,
agenda.
based on these figures, even though we have to reissue that check back for $15,000, it's
Mhm.
not costing the city anything, no, correct? Correct.
It's just an overage that they paid,
Right.
yeah.
We took a grant from the, Little Georgia Region, is that correct?
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
Does the library side, does the, regional, is their money, that grant covering that too? So it is costing the city some money,
Insurance wise,
That's
yeah.
They're not-
insurance.
Insurance.
Okay.
That was just whatever the leftovers were, so really, in reality, we pay our deductible
Would there be any way we could get a copy of that grant paperwork
from,
from the regional library for our records?
I can give you,
That would be
Ms.
great.
Jennifer, I'll give you information on what she paid and all of that.
It would be great to have it, put an extra on this,
Okay.
in case the auditor asks for it. Our auditor.
I mean, it shouldn't be no problem.
Yeah, so that would be great.
Okay, next, any more questions? Next, we have the update on the park. As you all, are aware, we did give you, an update on cost of that part, and we get more quotes. And you all should have, these are all the 3 repair quotes.
Okay, you talking about the, our part?
Yes, for the door.
Okay, I thought this was this
You
one.
pass it down, there's one hole. Oh, yeah, that's, all this, all these are 3 quotes. Each.
No, this is just-
That's your, each,
That's
one packet.
one.
Yeah, that's one
Oh,
packet.
Pass them there.
Because you already got that.
Yeah,
That's not the others.
Well, no, he got extra.
yeah, I've already got
You got
one.
extra?
Unnecessary tree.
Okay, you
I
can
got
have
that
it.
one for a minute.
Yeah,
Okay, very nice.
it's another one, but I give you a copy of that one.
I just got to.
So we got the bids from 6,000 to 8,000. I think we budget for what, 10? So we'd be under budget with these, three estimates here.
Are we basing our description of our repairs off what we've seen and what we think we need?
But some of these are including a new breaker box.
No, we need no breaker box.
This one's not requiring one. One's got handicap bathroom accessible.
They have to be, handicapped.
I mean, all these estimates are different, that's why the prices are different.
Mm-hmm.
What year were those bathrooms constructed? About what year? Do you know? I don't know how old they are. Miss Peggy, would you know?
They're old.
My thing is, the bathrooms, they're old and they need to be updated. I've been informed that if we don't, get that updated, the state can shut it down.
Well, and I agree with you 100% that they need to be updated. What I want to make sure of is that whatever updates we're doing is the updates that are required. In other words, I don't want to leave anything off. So I didn't know if that was something that, Tim Ingram, city engineer, if maybe he could maybe say, hey, this is something we hadn't thought about that we need to do here, or this is something that we probably don't need, or what I wanna make sure of is that we get everything done so that nobody comes up in 2 months after the work's done and says, hey, y'all didn't even think about this right here. Oh gosh. I
No.
just, you know, cause these quotes are different in price, but
Yeah,
most of the stuff looks the same, but there are some differences in the quotes.
And with that being said, that is correct. because we will have cameras put up out there, and we will have to have a box to
Feed the power.
feed the power from the camera. So that's probably a difference in that also. Also with the cameras, that's being put up out there, we do have the Brace grant that's gonna take care of that. We will not have to pay out of pocket for that. So, you didn't see anything on there about the cameras because that's gonna be taken care of, through the grant that we have in the Brace grant.
Okay, and I noticed one of the quotes says replacing vanity in both bathrooms if needed. So does that mean that
They
quote?
need it. They need it. They need them. I walked in there.
Those
So,
bathrooms
everything
been
in
out there
them.
between 20 and 30 years. They've been there about that long.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just wondering if the if needed, is that 7275? Is that as if they are needed, or is if they are not needed, and if they are needed, is it gonna cost more than that?
It looked like he put it in there.
He got it in there.
Yeah,
It's
he
in
got it
both
in there, so
bathrooms.
he
Where does
charged.
it
They
say it?
needed the third line down.
One of those.
Yeah, it says replacing vanity in both bathrooms if needed. So is that quote
Included.
including it if it
Mhm,
is needed?
If not, I'm pretty sure.
Right,
Yes.
so if it was not, let's just say it was not
Mhm.
needed, would it
Yeah,
bring that off the
it
price?
will. Mhm.
Okay. As long as we know what we're paying for, that's
Okay.
all I'm getting at.
Oh, yeah. Hey, the information that I gave you all the last time, I had the diagram of the toilet and everything that he was gonna put in there. He gave me that, a picture of that.
Cause everything in that thing need to come out. Everything.
So if we spend, you said budgeted 10,000 on this, so if we fix this and somebody damages it a month later, where do we go from here?
Well, actually, that's the reason why we're putting in the camera. That's gonna require more police patrolling and more, with that camera, that'll kind of give them, help us out if something damages that, if they damage it or whatever.
And you said the cameras is not
Not in-
included.
Not
Do we,
grant.
do
We
we
don't
know
have
how
to
much?
pay $4,100 to install the cameras, and I can give you all, I think I gave it to you in that packet also, the last meeting. If not, I'll give it to you all.
So if we're budgeted for 10 and we do 7,200, then we go over budget a little bit with the cameras
No, the camera's
No,
coming
the
out.
camera
Right.
is, that's,
from a grant?
yeah, it's
Okay.
coming from a grant.
Okay.
Mhm.
And maybe we can get those wires ran through the grant too. But if not, we still have a little money left over where we can get a grant and still get on the budget.
You said the wiring?
Yeah, you saying about the panel box?
Yeah, he's actually, with the grant, it's gonna include doing the wiring. The
Okay.
only thing, the box, we're gonna have to provide a box. And so in his quote, he included a box that we're able to keep in there for the cameras.
Okay.
The toilets, these are the metal toilets that Chief Hall presented to us. Is that
Yeah, that was something similar to what Chief always presented. You all have that picture in your, did you all see the last packet?
I remember.
Yeah, it's in there, those, that's the type of toilet.
And they're just gonna put that little bar on the side,
Mhm.
so it can be handicap or something.
And what are they gonna do with the metal door? You're gonna have your regular doors up to the toilet, up to the bathroom, but it's gonna put a metal door that'll go, that'll cover both doors. So we're gonna have to put something in place where we can have our officers go over and probably open it at 6 a.m. and be, close it in that afternoon, whatever time we come up with.
Talking about like
A metal door.
but it's not solid metal, just,
Yes, it's gonna be a metal door that goes across from both, for both of them, so that nobody won't be able to get in.
oh, so you're gonna have a door slide and close
Mhm.
both doors.
Mm.
Oh, I see.
You see where it says new metal tubing security door right there.
Mhm.
Well, they could pick one of them.
You need to pick one tonight.
Yes, we need to go ahead and pick one tonight.
Cheap ain't always a good way to go, but I like that 6,600 a whole lot better.
Do that, I don't have that, let me see the one, let me see that.
Way
Only
up.
thing about
He
sixty-six
don't have the
hundred,
box on
he ain't putting a panel on there.
Yeah.
Put what on there?
That
Panel
200 amp breaker box.
it.
And I can tell you, from 66 to 7,200, if you have to get an electrician out there just to put a 200 amp box, he's gonna make up every bit of that difference.
So which one are you?
I just wanna get back with the other guy, whoever this is, and get them to add a panel box to it. That way we can pack out. Cause all of them look about the same.
How do you do it? I mean, who determines what would need to be done out there as far as the scripture report?
I suggested getting the city engineer involved, just to get his take on it, cause he would probably know what needed to happen, what guidelines need to be followed, other than, we know it needs to be upgraded. We'd like to see it look better than what it does, as old as it is.
I don't think you need an engineer to actually write a design script for that.
We want to be up to code.
Yeah, I know
It's up to code.
It's up to code. I mean, the thing is, I'm asking, how do they know what to include in the report to make sure it was uniform?
When we asked for the bid, then they wanted to know what we actually wanted, what we needed out there, and so that's how they went for it.
Did they go look?
Mhm.
Okay.
Most definitely.
Tony, if you what you're asking, normally on something this big, we get the engineer prepare a bid packet, we advertise it to open it up to everybody, so everybody can be included in the bidding if they want to. And then we have sealed bids turn in and we open it to city council and read them out.
Oh, I love sealed bids. I love that
And the reason I
process.
said that, because we've asked some people, why aren't y'all asking me to bid on city projects? We've had that question asked in City Hall. So you wanna open it up to include anybody who wants to bid on it. That's what you normally do on a bigger project. Well, this is what we would call a bigger project because it's over $5,000.
Oh, yeah.
I got no problem with that.
I mean,
About it.
so you're saying get the city engineer to create
Bid
what needs
packet.
to be done?
They'll drop a little simple bid packet, and that way, anybody who comes in and wants to bid, after you've advertised it like 2 weeks in the paper, you hand them a bid packet, and it'll tell them that they can bid on these items exactly as listed, because he'll tell you exactly what you bid on. And that way, you know everybody was told the exact same thing, and nobody can come back and say, hey, you didn't tell me it was gonna have to have a panel box.
Yeah, like that.
Or
what
something
you
like
said.
that. So it eliminates
that's
all
fair.
that, so everybody can say, hey, you all had the same checklist, and
Same
you
thing.
turn in your bid, you know, your bid, and we open it to council.
We're
That's
doing
fair.
apples to apples.
Yeah,
That's why you do it.
It'll be more inclusive. That's what
Yeah,
they're-
that's
they're
fair.
bidding on, that's right.
So what we can do is just table this until
Yeah.
we, get, Tim to do a bid packet.
Yes, ma'am, it's called a bid packet.
I make a motion that we table the part until we get a bid package.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I need to say something, if we're gonna get the city engineers to look at it,
He's gonna talk about it.
but every bid should contain a scope of work. And the scope of work is what we want, what we want done. So, that's just my little 2 cents of, opinion on something else, but you need a scope of work, so that, if we're gonna do X, Y, and Z, this is what we're gonna do. And that's what you hold them to, the scope of work, so. For the engineer, he could write up the scope of work. That normally goes.
And that's really what we call it, I think, the scope of work that's included in the bid packet. Yeah, you're right.
All right.
You have a motion?
We had a motion and a second.
Yeah.
All in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
All not in favor by saying no. Okay, next we'll move to the update on the gas pump covering, and I think we left off the shed. Yeah. Before we do that, let me, amend the agenda to add about the alleyway.
The alleyway.
Yeah, to add the alleyways for the city of Florida.
I make a motion that we, amend the agenda for the alleyway for the city of Ward.
All in favor by saying aye? All in favor by saying no. And then we'll open a new business.
Which item is going to be?
Huh?
You ready to move E?
We're gonna add it on, we can do it, under new business. As a, yes, we discussed before. Okay. Next is the update on the gas pump recovery. And the shed that's there. We've had gotten quotes or whatever for this, but if you all go down there and look at that shed, I don't see any salvage in it. And, I've been told, it's really not salvageable, but you have to know that the gas pump, the meter is on the back of that shed. That would have to be removed if we just tear it down. Like it'll be less expensive to tear the shed down because it's really hazardous. It's falling. And I'm pretty sure you all have rode by there many times and seen that it's rotten and you have some things that are in there, but we'll have to get that out.
I took a guy over there and, he said it is a hazard.
Yeah,
It's a
it
bad
is.
hazard and he's probably ain't been rolled up on it yet, but, this thing do tear it down and put another building up there.
And then maybe, we can include it in the budget going forward.
Yeah. But they need to be tore down up, they said.
And, the covering, we really do need that covering over that gas pump. Like you all know, it is digital. And, we just want to prevent, any damages to it. We need that covering to go over that gas pump.
Do we have any bids for it yet?
We did, I've only gotten one bid. For that, gas pump.
Okay, it don't take a great bid, it's just something to go over the pump.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Get it out the go. So you wanna get a bid on that or?
Do y'all wanna get a bid for that? More bids, we already have one, but we need more bids and,
You said you already got one?
uh,
How do we know what it's gonna cost? What's the bid on, what's the cost?
for the shed, for the, I don't have it with me.
Okay. Wouldn't it be feasible to follow the same protocol?
Yeah.
to get the,
Bid packets.
Yeah.
bid
Yeah.
package,
Do a work pattern.
Because what may be minor to us, may get,
major.
yeah, major to someone else.
That sounds pretty
And are we
Yeah,
talking
that's
about
fine.
just,
And the might can include
are we talking just,
that with the bathroom.
are we just talking demolishing? it? Are
Right.
we-
You can include it, let one contractor can,
And do
they
it
come and
all.
look at it and do it all. Unless, you know, it's. you
But we can
wanna-
just,
you
with
wanna
that
be
big
fair
packet,
with your
then we could
bids,
just
you know, you
include
wanna put it out,
everything,
Give everybody a shout at.
yeah.
But would that be feasible to do this time, given the fact that we need to stay in line with the budget?
Yeah, we can't do both of them.
Yeah, we think we need to separate that,
That budget is just for the park.
because,
True.
yeah, we may not be able or ready to do it in this session. Perhaps just get a bid and perhaps, I don't know. But what I'm saying is that at least get the bid package and make sure that we're comparing apples to apples.
So we need two bid, are you all saying we need two bid packets?
Now, I say-
Did both of them?
Yes.
Okay.
And, I have one thing called to my attention on that, when we do the gas pump, the fire department is concerned to make sure that we leave enough room for them to
Rather
back
than,
that fire truck. They say it's hard to pull it in and out now as it is, and when you got a shed or something, you gotta watch for the
Yeah.
pumps.
Yeah.
But please take that into consideration, that's one of
Well,
the concerns
really-
they have.
even on that side of that fence, well, actually, they go in through the shed, through the, barn? Or
I'm
do
not
they,
sure,
are they on the outer?
he said that they can, it's almost impossible to get gas now and turn that big fire truck around in space they've already got without a shed up. So they said, please keep fire trucks in mind if we do something.
Well, if you seen that pump, the pump is on the gated
On the
side,
Inside the gate, the fence.
so if they've been used to coming to, do they pump from the outside? Cause I know
I really
the
don't
sheriff
know.
department, do you all do shit from the outside, or you open the gate?
We do both.
You did both?
During business hours, we drive through,
Mhm.
and after hours, we go on
Gotcha.
the outside and do it that way.
Oh, okay.
And, but from what I've seen, being up there while getting gas and the fire department usually goes inside to do this.
Okay, so they were saying that if we put up a shed
Yeah.
over, it's gonna,
But they probably use gas or diesel.
I don't
Diesel
know.
pumps is a little bit, it's a little
Well,
bit.
either
off
one
the
is,
back.
yeah,
So we put that thing on there, it shouldn't hit.
that'll be something we need to take into consideration, when
That
we're
That
doing
would
the
be
bid
something
package,
you can put in the bid
Bid
package
package,
too,
yeah.
is that we gotta have clearance for
Clearance
these
for the-
vehicles.
yeah.
Yeah, well, they just asked me if it ever came up to please throw that in there for
Yeah.
us.
So are we talking about a demolition and rebuild at the same time?
What?
When we talking about, is it two separate things? When we talking
Well,
about gas
down at the
pump?
barn, we're talking about putting a cover over the pump,
Okay.
and then the building that's beside it, that's to be demolished.
Okay. Yeah,
Is that over the pump or just that keypad?
Over that keypad,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, it'll probably go over both of them, would it?
But it's just a little farther back.
Wow.
I just worry about a keypad because the pump will be fine. Been raining on all these years.
Okay. So we're gonna do, two big packets for both of those. All right, next we have on the agenda,
Want to table that? Yeah,
well,
the pump.
oh yeah,
I make a motion that we table that, covering of the gas pump. Until we get a bid out.
Second.
any discussion? All in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
All not in favor by saying no. Okay, next we have to approve the blight letter.
This is a different one, it's all on the table.
Oh,
Which is it?
do you have one?
Hold on the table, I just didn't know.
No, this is,
different.
yeah, this is different.
Okay.
Mhm.
We use this
Yeah.
one.
Okay, we hit with that blight letter.
I can just see what I do.
I got one.
You already got one? He's already got one.
You already got, okay, so let's do this one.
Okay, I'll take that one. Thank you.
I'll let Attorney Green elaborate on this,
think we already voted on this, actually.
Yeah.
It was just, originally it didn't conform to our city of Gordon stuff, and had the maintenance stuff in there, but, it's since been revised, and, she, looks like she took a little bit out, specifically to put the highlighting. I guess she probably wants to go out like this, so citizens are aware of the different laws and penalties, but, I guess you could decide whether you want the highlighting on it or not, but other than that, it should be good to go.
pretty much the same contract. She just put City of Gordon instead. So it's one we've been having for a while.
It's fine to me, it's very detailed. The only question like I would have is, does it need to be highlighted like this? Because all of this may not apply to a particular individual, and perhaps if someone's being cited for a particular incident, and highlighting that particular incident may be appropriate for that person, you see, or just not highlighted at all.
I think what, okay. Nicole,
Yeah, the part that's highlighted, that part will be changed.
Gotcha.
The part that just shows you the code. So if I send something to you, it won't include everything, just whatever refers, goes to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
okay.
Okay. All right. Gotcha.
Okay, I see it. It's just giving us what they could get. These are just examples of it. Whatever it doesn't mean that they're gonna get all, it would be cited for all of these, okay. Okay.
I make a motion, we approve the right letter as written.
Any discussion? All in favor by saying aye? All not in favor by saying no?
No.
5 days and 1 day.
Okay. All right. Next, we go to, new business. I'm gonna go ahead and do the alleyways before we get to Mr. Falkenberg. No, we'll go ahead with Mr. Falkenberg, and then we'll get the alleyways. Pawn shop, equipment and rental, 119 Railroad Street, new business. Right, Mr. Falkenberg?
Yes, ma'am.
So what do we do? We're just approving for that?
It's similar to like a beer and wine license, it just has to come from council approval. There's certain things that you're gonna have in there, you gotta bring to council's attention, and one of those are, guns. So he's gonna tell you a little bit what he's gonna
Okay.
have on there, maybe guns and ammo, or no guns, but that's what he's here
Yeah,
for.
at this time, I do not plan on doing the FCC license or anything like that, carrying firearms. I will be selling ammunition, which I already do at this time at the flea market and the store there, which don't require a state license. But other than that, just a typical pawn shop where people can come in and buy or pawn tools or jewelry, or a typical pawn shop, and then renting some small equipment.
Okay. So he's basically have already got the business established.
Well,
We
he
just
has,
want to-
well, he has to come before council before we can issue a
Okay.
license.
So we just need approval tonight,
Right.
so that we can issue this license for him to
Exactly.
have.
The same way you do a beer and wine license. It's just one of the few that's required.
I make a motion that we approve the business license from Ms. Parker.
A second.
Any discussion?
Attorney Green said he will be renting from my family members. Should I vote on this or no?
If it's your family member, you should recuse yourself.
I recuse myself now.
So we got a motion, and he's seconded. Any discussion? All in favor of saying aye? All not in favor by saying no?
everybody else voted aye.
Thank
And motion carried.
Okay, now we're gonna talk about alleyways here in the city of Lawrence. You all have this sheet here that, I've discussed with Attorney Green, and he has, given me this information, the notice to all citizens of Gordon, Georgia. And it's a public notice in compliance with the Georgia state law on public property access. And I'm just gonna, just read it out so that everybody can hear what it says. Because this is what will be pertaining, will be given to, citizens of Gordon. Dear citizens of Gordon, Georgia, this notice serves to inform all residents of Gordon, Georgia of the legal provisions regarding the use and accessibility of city right-of-ways, specifically alleyways and throughways. As per Georgia state law, it is imperative to adhere to regulations prohibiting obstruction of these public ways, as they are integral to the city's infrastructure and communal welfare. According to the Georgia Code, specifically OCGA 44-5-160 SDQ and OCGA 12-3-447, it is explicitly stated that real and personal property owned by the city is deemed public property. This designation precludes any claims of ownership through adverse possessions by private individuals. Therefore, the city retains full ownership and control over these areas, mandating that they remain accessible to the public and free from obstruction. In that the real and personal property of the authority is public property. Title by adverse possession or prescription shall not run against the authority or the real and personal property of the authority, and there shall be no application of or repenting or perfection of title by the doctrine of adverse possession or prescription against the authority or against the real and personal property of the authority. That's Georgia Code 12-3-447. Failure to comply with these regulations will result in fines and penalties as outlined by local ordinances. It is imperative that all citizens ensure the accessibility and safety of our city by refraining from obstructing city right-of-ways. This notice serves as the official communication regarding this matter, and further non-compliance will be met with appropriate enforcement measures. Thank you for your cooperation in preserving the accessibility and safety of our city for all residents. By adhering to these regulations, we uphold the principles of public ownership and communal responsibility, ensuring Gordon remains a vibrant and inclusive community. This has had to be in place because, particularly here on Railroad Street, we've been having back and forth about different things between Railroad Street and Paper Railroad, behind the Jelly Elephant. Beside the Jelly Elephant, leading all the way to Paper Mill Road. This is all that I can give to the community. It's been searched by our attorney. You cannot block those alleyways. That's the city of Gordon's property. And I don't know what else to say because, they've been feuding, going back and forth, but the law stands. So we have this in place, and we have to issue them out. We'll issue them out to whoever needs.
Also, so you got two standing at the door that own property over there.
Who, this Mr.
I'm Mr. Sanders.
You're Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Okay, you own
the building that Matt Falkenberg just rented from behind, it's 119 Railroad Street. I own the business there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Sante, okay.
Yeah, old Sante, the video of the store, whatever, yeah.
Okay, and
I'm Joe. I own Denver's Body Shop.
Dennis, okay. I don't know over the years, it's been, everybody just used it. I don't know what's, as far as the property, is that your property or you all's property? How, can you all elaborate on that?
On my plat, it shows the land for the 119 Railroad Street goes from the side, one side of the building, 2 foot from the side of it, all the way to 2 foot to the side of the Jelly Elephant building. Which, cause the decorations and everything that's put in was put in by the Blankenships, who I bought the building from back in 2009, I think.
You pertain to that alleyway?
Yes, the
Okay, with the,
yeah.
okay.
And so we put all that and we've maintained it and everything throughout the years. It shows the plat of the alleyway going between the buildings, which y'all have to tell me what's the new building and everything on the paper mill. That's the alleyway, and it comes up to a rectangle spot, and that's the part that the city owns, which joins up to Dinner's property and joins up my property in behind the Jelly Elephant and everything. So, but yeah, it should, right now there's items blocking that alleyway up through there, and we got we got it decorated nice and everything through the alleyway, and
those have to be removed.
Yeah, and those have to be removed, and we're gonna leave the alleyway, through there. We're gonna maintain it and keep it in good shape and everything for, people to walk through and sit. I had a bench in there at one time, a concrete bench is just gone, but we'll get something else put back in there. But and
what about
we'll maintain that part.
Okay, so the back.
The back behind it is where the city of Gordon owns, and the alleyway going back out between
It's going out between the Morris's building and Eloise
Woods. Yeah,
that's
it.
That's the alleyway, and
Okay.
it goes behind her building, and it's basically just stops right behind all of them.
Yeah.
And that's it. I actually own where my truck's parked at.
Yeah.
All that is mine. I pay taxes on all that.
He owns all the way.
Been
up to
doing
the
it
side
for
of the building.
over 50 years. Been paying taxes.
So what concerns are you having? I mean, what problems are you running into?
What concerns we got is he's gonna need access to the back side of the building, and because right now they have it blocked off, we don't have a proper way to get in without, and then we don't want to take and move somebody else's property, and then we down here discussing it again. We want to make sure the resolution y'all just passed should say everything that needs to be done.
But even in them alleyways, you can't, even between, you're gonna need a way to go behind those buildings. You can't come in through that alleyway because it's like is that a is it a sewer or something? It's salt.
It's a sewer.
It's something that's right there.
Yeah.
So,
Who having it blocked off? You saying somebody had something blocked off in the back?
There's city cones on each end, and then there's pallets down the alleyway at some
it's gonna
point.
have to be removed.
Well, that's
It's the
That's what that
Morris's
is.
that bought the parts.
That come from
Parts place,
Low
it's
cost
got it
store.
all blocked off
It's
back
bad.
there.
It's bad. We put those back there.
But they're gonna have to move it. He's talking about those,
Yeah.
they're gonna have to move that stuff.
Are they city cones?
Well, hadn't he laid something back there, like some dirt or some gravel or something
Well,
blocking?
he put in his property all the way up to where, behind his building and everything, he did put some, recycled asphalt and everything back there. But then he's got a little berm up and everything that's restricting the flow going through the alley. But
Okay,
That's-
Attorney Green, can you let me know, okay, as far as this property is, I mean, although we have the alleyway, but technically, they can't get to their property because of this owner has bought the only interest that they used to use to go, it was never a problem. But since the new owner has bought that property, it's beginning to be a problem for everybody that has a business on Railroad Street. So,
Well, you can't create an island, so you can't buy a piece of property that doesn't have an access into it. And if you do in fact buy such a piece of property, then the law demands that you have a way into your property. So that's a non-starter that you won't have a way to access your property. You may have to go to court to get it. But as far as the alleyway goes, as the letter stated, you can't adversely possess from the city. So anybody that tries to, or puts a gate up, puts stuff over it, or maintains it even for 50 years, does so at their own peril, because unlike other property, now other property you can, in 30 years, it's yours, right? If somebody builds a fence 10 feet over on your land, if you let them mow it and maintain it for 30 years, now it's their property, and you go back and say, well, hey, you've been mowing my yard for 30 years, it's my yard, because I've been taking care of it that long. But as to the city, that unfortunately doesn't apply. You can do, just like you said, pay taxes on it for 50 years, and it still ain't your property. It's never gonna be your property, because you cannot adversely possess from a city or from a government. So you just do so at your own peril. The city ways will always be the city ways, unless we affirmatively abandon them. And to my knowledge, we've done that once since I've been here. There's been one alley that we have affirmatively abandoned to 2 different owners at one point. That's the only thing I can recall. So maybe Mr. Edie might know something else, but that's about all I can recall.
So where do we go to find out what is actually considered an alleyway?
It shows it on the plat and everything for the city of Gordon and everything. It shows the alleyway going up between the old parks.
Because according to my plat, it don't show none of that on there.
Yeah.
And it never has showed it on there.
But behind where my building is, it shows that being
It
city
shows
property.
that.
Yeah.
That's city
And
property.
that
That
alleyway.
is actually, because nobody pays taxes on that.
That's right.
That's the entrance and the exit.
That's
Yeah.
right.
You
That's
can
right.
pull.
That's how you
Access
got to the
everything
back
back there, and then
That's how
turn,
we
like
got to
if
the
a
back of
delivery
the
truck.
building and everything.
Yes.
If a delivery truck was showing up, it can pull in there and deliver,
Turn
and then
around
go back
and go
out
back
that
out.
way.
And for years, we've always had an understanding with all of the property owners that, the access never was a problem until now, so.
The short answer, just for everybody who might wanna know, the short answer to that question is the deed records. Deeds and plats will show who owns what land. That's true for anybody.
Yeah.
One mistake folks do often make is looking at the tax map and parcel, and they go to the tax digest and it shows a little outline. They say, okay, well, this is my property. There's nothing lawful about that whatsoever. Just because the tax office says you own it, don't mean nothing. It's what the deed records show. The tax office could say you own half Gordon, that don't mean you own it. They just messed up, or, and it quite often happens that people are paying taxes on property for many years, and the law is basically, if you don't go challenge it, that's on you. If you think you're paying taxes on something you don't own, it's up to you to go say, hey man, I don't own this, and do a tax appeal or something. But if you're gonna go pay taxes, they're gonna keep taking your tax money, but that don't give you any ownership of it whatsoever. So.
I think we just get everything moved out of the way so we can access, so he can access into his business and everything. Now,
I think it'd be incumbent upon whoever, maybe get the engineer out there and make sure there's not a problem putting weight on that wherever we're going. And then, once we know that it can be safely operated upon now, because I don't know how long it's been in the alley. I mean, it could be horse and buggies used to go through there, I don't know, but if we can put vehicles on it, then the chief could certainly go clear it off.
I don't think that putting weight on that between those buildings is gonna be feasible, when they can go out there and check, because it's.
Might need an engineer to go check.
Yeah.
just to
yeah, I
make
mean,
sure.
I think it's just gonna be pickup trucks and everything.
Yeah.
Maybe pulling a trailer back there and loading up something out the back of the store and
It's
taking
probably gonna
bringing
be
it
the
in.
only way, if we could do that, that's
Yeah.
probably, to not get into their property or whatever.
The sewer thing you're talking about is actually not in the alley part where people drive, it's actually up closer to the building.
Yeah.
So nobody will be driving over that part.
No.
It's not where everybody's been driving all these years, it's actually off to the side.
I know it was real muggy or wet over in there too.
Yeah, the city had a water leak back there for a while, and
Yeah.
it finally got.
So,
Cause I thought it was mine, and it wasn't.
okay, so what we can do is, just, you don't have any choice but to, get him to check over there and see if we are able to do that, to, create a interest where they can come in and go out.
Yeah.
So what we'll do, we'll reach out to our engineer and, see what we can do about that.
How can the city, if the city has to service the area back there, can they get back there in this current position?
Yeah, they had to probably go through Mid-Pat now, that little driveway right there between them two buildings.
That's the alleyway. That's the alleyway we talking about.
But I know she got blocked off right now though. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
blocked off.
There's pallets all in the
Yeah.
alleyway over there.
I think though those pallets is actually on her property,
Okay.
cause she owns
Like 2 feet off of her building.
several feet
But-
off the
Yeah.
building,
But that's
all the
what
way
he-
back behind her, that concrete pad is all her property.
But
And
that's
that's
what he,
what she's got it laid off, she's got it laid off as, that's
Her
her
property.
property right there.
but what the attorney was saying was, despite that, the alleyway is the city of Gordon. I don't care if she owns 2 feet, 3 feet, or whatever. Am I correct?
Well, whatever property she actually owns is hers. What might be an issue is her proving sufficiently what is actually her property. And so, you know, I'm sure she probably has a survey on it. Normally when you acquire land, you get a survey, which is advisable, but there's certainly an alley through there that is city property. And it may just mean that we need to determine exactly where her property ends and where the city alleyway starts.
That's what she's done. She's 2 feet. It's 2 feet off her. Is it 2 feet from her
Well,
building?
that's, we'd have to make sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if
Because
she's
she's 3 feet on my
blocking
side.
it, it's still in the alleyway. And it's being blocked.
She's got pallets. Pallets are bigger than 2 feet, that's.
Yeah, that's, you know, what about 14.
She got a lot of.
Yeah, but she still owns behind her property back
Yeah.
there. She just has the pallets at the edge
She's
of
trying
her
to-
line.
she's
She
trying
got
to-
them on my side too, which is, she got 3 feet from her building. And she's got them behind her building, straight back. Showing the line 3 feet from her building back.
I'm always in favor of people working things out amicably to the extent they can. So my best advice would be go out there and see if we can all get an agreement on how we're gonna get through there. If not, then she leaves us no choice but to take her to court. That's all there is to it.
I make one more statement. I did speak to the people that owned the Saturday that there was the event downtown. I did speak to the people. No, the paper mill market. Well, the owners worked there, but somebody working there, they claim that they own everything behind every building because they own the bank and the paper mill market, that all the property behind there is theirs, and nobody can drive back there.
All right, well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna reach out to our engineers and to check and see about what if we can create an interest, create that as an interest, you know, for you all to come through. Okay. All right. Next, we have the Gordon Wilson County Ballpark storm damage.
Everybody has a copy. I put it on there because they've requested that we turn in some more insurance claims out there, but he did not have the estimates to me today. I have no estimates.
Man, I just like to table this because I really want to go out there and put my eyes on this. I'm just getting this. So I really want to go out there and put my eyes on it before we start, making claims on the insurance. And something, maybe something we might not even be reliable for.
Okay. We can do that.
That's just my intake on it. Cause these pictures don't do no justice on
It's hard to tell, and I couldn't get them printed off from my computer in color either. It's just a few shingles missing, it looks like. I couldn't even tell what the other. Yeah.
I thought she drew it.
What's the result?
That's a shingle laying on the ground, that's like,
And I don't think we reliable for that.
Well, we'll just table this and we go out and do it because we don't have anything to go.
I make a motion that we table the ballpark.
I second.
All in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
All not in favor by saying no. Next, we have the police department, CC Empire quote for a computer. that you gonna,
I'll just stick for Mike's, I have a big year today.
okay,
We've got two different computers, that we went through with, CCMI, gave us two quotes on, one's on for a Dell and one's for a Lenovo. Pretty much a lot of the rest of the basic information in there is just a little same, it's just different name brands and all. And the one is $2,200 and $2,201, and the other one is $2,100 for, not too much of a preference. I think that we've talked about that, you know, either way will go, but, you know, these are the two closest ones we got that would match together and all that work to replace our dispatch computer because it's getting full, it's outdated and been there for years.
So did you all solicit quotes from anybody else, or this was someone that's comfortable dealing with?
Ken Conaway with CCMI is the one that does all of our tech work for this stuff and all. So he's the one that does anything that needs to be done on the computers. We bring him in and he fixes them and does stuff to them and all. Adds any programs we need to. He's basically our IT guy that we use.
For the whole city.
Yeah.
oh, this one, Ken, okay.
We voted a long time
Yeah.
ago to have him as our IT person.
Did he say somebody that Grant can cover some of this right here? Last time we talked, he was saying that he can get a grant, or,
Splosh money.
yeah.
It can cover it.
Do you know how much we got in there? Okay.
I don't know right offhand, but we gotta pay for that tanker truck and a police car
Yeah,
too.
that's what I'm saying.
The question is now, do we have to pay for the entire tanker truck and then submit that and get
Yeah, and get
reimbursed
the
later?
reimbursed.
So we're trying to hold on to it, but, Nathan's trying to get an answer on that for us too. But we could pay it out of Splosh.
Let's just table it until we can see what we got, and where we're gonna pull it from.
Or general fund, we got enough in general fund right now if he needs it. Cause I know certain parts of the computers, they can't be down, but I don't know if this is one of them.
This is the major computer in the office because it has GCIC on there that we run all the tags and information and stuff and anybody going in and stuff like that. So
You may wanna check this quote, because it expires 3/20/24, and it's still the same price.
it's still good.
It's still good?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah. I saw that on there too.
Somebody will change it, go up $100, $200.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there a way you can get like an overall fund balance for the position? You see there like the sponsor, et cetera, see where we are, pending transactions.
Yes, we
But
can
when
get
we
that.
vote on it, I wanna make sure what account that is coming out of.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Normally, we do pay them out of Splosh. I mean, the money's there, it's just, I don't know where we gotta pay for that
tank,
other
truck,
one.
you know.
And it may be we only have to pay our portion, we may not have to pay the whole thing up front. And Nathan is supposed to be checking into that.
I'm pushing about what, 50,000, somewhere along there?
I think it's about 60, what, Mr. Terry, do you remember? About 60 something.
And if we so happen to have to pay the full amount, would that put us in jeopardy? In reference to it?
We can always pay, like, if the police, just say we don't have enough in Splosh, we can pay the police car out of general fund, and then we get Splosh money
And
back,
we
we can
reimburse.
reimburse the general fund. We've got a little playroom, a little bit of wiggle room right now. So we will probably be good with this quote right now, because I'm thinking June, is it about June before the tanker, they're hoping to be ready in June. And we get monthly payments to Splosh, so I'm thinking we'll probably be okay. I was just trying to find a way not to hold that up because that's critical.
If it was any other,
GCIC.
if it was any other computer, it's not that bad of an
It's
issue.
secondary, we could wait on,
Yeah.
but this is their GCIC information.
Dispatch computer, everything.
Yeah, that's about the whole police department.
So you all don't have one at all now?
We do, you know, but it's redlining out to where it's almost done. You know, I've been here, next month will be 7 years, and it's been here since then, so, you know, it's outdated.
Yeah.
We got two different quotes from the same guy, right?
Yes.
One is a deal and one is a no.
You know what I'm saying? It comes from the same company.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's who does it. The
Yeah,
CCMI.
Yeah, he's the one that does all of our IT work for the city.
Which one that y'all
I think it's
leaning more towards?
There, you know, I think pretty much about the difference is gonna be name brand, you know.
What does our IT guy recommend?
Does he recommend one over the other? Honestly, I'm not sure. I haven't found that part out, and all, so, you know, I wasn't able to talk to Mike about that part, which one he prefers when, before now. So, I'm just, if he's gonna be the guy to work on it,
Yeah.
I'd like to know what his take is one of them better to work on than another one, or is it more prone to having problems?
I'll tell you, most of the ones I think we have in the office are Labonas.
Okay.
We have those
Yeah,
too.
so, you know, it's, we really haven't had that major problems or nothing crashing on those and everything too, so. If that helps any, so, I mean, and what we got.
But he
About
warrants those anyway, right?
Yes.
So this, regardless, they're both similar,
Yeah.
similar in technology, yeah, so. Yeah, so this.
Okay, can we get a motion?
I make a motion, we approve the quote for $2,100 to CCMI.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor by saying aye? All not in favor by saying no? Alright. Well, okay, next we have on the agenda, Chief Hall to discuss vacant job.
Yes.
Okay.
Still haven't really gotten any good applicants to be able to come in yet and all. We've gotten several different ones, but it's from people that are not certified, not qualified and everything for the job. One of the problems he thinks we might be having is the fact that the pay wise, might not be as comparable as starting out pay, and we just need to probably bring it up to like $21.50. And we also need to bring up, he wanted me to bring up the fact that we need to see about trying to relist it again to be able to do the posting of the job application wise for it, saying that we're, you know, still looking for somebody, two people.
What was the start pay?
Now is what, 19 and up, a little over 19. And
Isn't this a position that you said that would not have to be certified
no,
right now?
no, these are,
Or these required
yeah,
certification?
required post certification, unless we end up sending somebody to school to get certified. And it's really, we really need somebody, at least one more here right away to, you know, give us some little bit of normalcy from the schedule we're on now. And then he said he could do another one like that going to school if that's the case, but preferably trying to get two people hired on that is post certified, able to come in and be able to hit the road with us and all.
So you're saying, hire somebody that close to the qualifications would need to have schooling?
Mandate.
Yeah, mandated,
Mandated.
post certification through mandate. They have
So
their
we
rep
send them
hours.
to be mandated?
There's one them chance you can do that is send somebody to school. That's what I did here. The city sent me to school here back in 2001. I was not certified, and then came in and worked, and then went from there. Or you can do like Tim Brett we did. He's already certified. He's ready to go. We hired him in, and he can hit the road, you know, learn the streets with us and all, and do it that way. Those are two different options and all. You look at sending somebody to school, I think it's 10 weeks before they're actually able to hit the road. So, you know, preferably if we can get somebody there that's certified and all.
Cause I know, Mike was also talking about going to, the academy up there to see any of the classes that have just, graduated or fixing to graduate, and see if anybody has paid their own way through, and see if they wanna come down and come work for us, or at least apply, for it, so.
But are y'all advertising outside or going outside of Wilkerson County?
Yeah, it's in the, the Macon
Yeah,
post,
he did
Macon,
it in the Macon Post, and he did it in the,
Indeed. Yeah, it went on there with Indeed and, a couple of different sites by doing it by making, the Telegraph. And, like I said, he's gotten several folks, applying, but a lot of them are not certified. A lot of them say they're post-certified because they're correction officers, but that's different than a post-police officer because they don't have arrest powers.
Might just send them through school and just put them on a contract. Yeah, I thought that was one of the things that he mentioned.
yeah, that's.
About sending to school.
Because on the last promotion, he had,
Yeah.
a couple of people promoted, he said that would allow him some flexibility to actually bring in someone perhaps uncertified, contract.
Right.
With the contract that is.
Yeah.
And make sure that you just don't bear the expense of sending them to school and then they
Leave.
leave in the.
Yeah, because if they do leave, they either have to pay all that back, or either the department they go to has to pay the city back.
Wow.
But it would open up, now, are we talking one position or are we talking two?
Well, we have 2 positions that's open right now, because we're down 2 people.
I think that would be logical, and like he was saying, going to the academy, and so, giving the information for them to apply. Yeah.
And, has he ruled out, I mean, you possibly kill 2 birds with 1 stone, has he ruled out the option of actually hiring someone uncertified and sending them to school?
No, he actually had that ruled out way beforehand, but now since we're having issues of trying to get qualified people to come in, he's, cause I know this time last year, he's told me before he would not send nobody to school because he wants to hire somebody that's already, now it's, we may have to open that option back up and get somebody to do that, to come back in.
Yeah.
So you need to advertise that also.
Yeah, and that'd be put into with the certification wise of, the post going out to.
And then they'll take that $19 out.
Yeah. And that at least get your position filled, and still,
Well, I think what he's talking about is going up for the 2150 is a certified officer. So, but as for getting somebody that is like that sent to school, let it be that it come up to that.
Right, correct.
I know his only, deal with getting somebody who is not certified, and this is just me talking to him, so I have very little understanding of it, but he said if you get somebody that is not certified, it's at least 1 year before you can let them do anything, because it's such a liability. Am I understanding it right?
Not quite.
Okay. Explain it so that
you send them to school for 10 weeks, and they're not here working in the city, but they are getting paid to go and get trained. Then once they hit the road, they're usually go through a training period where they're riding with somebody, to the fact that we feel comfortable enough that they got what they need, they know this, and we know they're gonna do right, and they kind of let them out from riding with somebody to being on their own, on the same shift, riding out their own car, then, kind of taking the reins of it a little bit.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's, now we're good, we're comfortable with it, now he's gonna be on their own shift and stuff like that.
So I see why he wants somebody to come in already.
Yeah, because
10 weeks is basically 3 months right there, and then if you
look maybe
I
about
guess
6 months at the most before you looking at possibly getting on their own in the shift where.
And he was looking out in the beginning, he was looking out that it was more cost efficient or cost effective for the city to get somebody already trained.
Yeah.
Because if we've gotta pay them that long before we can actually utilize their services,
then it's costing us.
And
Yeah,
that's,
no doubt.
that's it,
Yeah.
and that it goes if they pass the course to be able to do
Yeah.
too.
So you got all this to
Yes.
figure out. And then,
Because
Yeah.
when I've been through with it, several that, failed on qualifications, they, on the range, failed out on the driving portion and stuff, doing the EVOC classes and
so
stuff.
that's really just something we have to just,
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
how long has the positions have been open?
Since January.
Since January, so we're pushing 5 months already.
We have
You see, so that's what I'm saying, not to desire to fill both positions, to actually get a body in place.
Well, that's what I'm saying, if we could get one at least.
Yes.
And, already here that's certified or whatever, then we can, that last position, that we'd be comfortable to be able to say, okay, yeah, if it takes us 6 months, but at least the rest of us are in a regular rotation again and stuff, instead of working 2 16-hour shifts and everything every 2 days and stuff.
No doubt, but there again, if you're advertising for them both, the uncertified person may turn up being the home run.
Yeah, but then again, there's just like that, you know, if you get 2 of them that do, and one's not qualified, certified, and one is, well, you can get the one already on the road while this one is in class at the same time and
Correct.
shorten that time period.
That's
also.
correct.
But that's not an issue,
Right.
too much, you know, 'cause, as officer wise and working the road, we would love to have somebody that is already certified to help lessen up the double 16s that we're having to do every 2 days. And then and then having that other person already being trained and going into being in school and doing that, knowing that there's a light at the end of the tunnel to say we're fixing to get back to our regular everything and all and be fully staffed again.
Right.
You know, that'd be awesome to know that we have that in the works and on the way there.
Right.
You know, but main thing is we're looking at, we need to definitely get one person here right away if we can. And then we can work on that last one to, whether we need to send them to school or whatever.
Would it be possible that if we did have to hire somebody that we had, pay for the training, that, we could do it under some kind of contract?
Usually that's always what it was, 'cause that's when I, even in 2001, when I did, it was the same thing. It
I
was.
didn't mean to ask a
No, that's
question that
okay.
already been
We-
answered.
Like, when I came in 2001, when I went, first started here, I had to sign a contract saying I stay here for X amount of years, which is, I think, 2 years. And after that, if I wanted to leave, I could do, but, because that, in that time period, that would pay back, by going to school and everything. And that's what every department does, if they're sending somebody now, sheriff's office, police departments, they do that on that side.
okay.
It is what it is.
Well, thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
So we have to get the mic with them.
Yes.
Put that on.
Next, we have Miss Melinda Thomas, request for payment for her damages on her vehicle. And, you all have the information before you. Ms. Thomas has turned in 2 quotes. And according to, you all have looked at it, right? The Iowa Collision Center is saying 1377 per 2, and the other one is like 1931.99. Is that, was that including the rental?
Well, that's the problem. Jim and I talked earlier today, and we think maybe the best thing to do, nobody knows how many days you're gonna rent a car, but I talked with Ivy Collision, she says she can't see more than 3 days. So what Jim and I were talking about earlier is let her pay for her repairs and turn in her repair bills to the city of Gordon, so we'll know exactly what we're paying for.
What do you mean, paying for the car?
For the month. Let her pay for it first.
No, that's this, no, she would have, we would be responsible for that, because technically we backed into her car.
But anyway, I don't have anything on rental,
Unless-
nobody knows, you can't reimburse somebody for something you don't know how many days it's gonna take yet.
Exactly,
So
so
we
this
can't
is,
give her anything in advance, and she was wanting advance pay, from what I understand.
But
We
she
can't
won't
do
know
that.
how many days they will give her for rental until she go there, then they gonna tell her how many
she
days.
said about 3, she
They
said no more than 3
said,
days.
well, and here's another thing, they said there's no need to get her a rental car now, because it's gonna be June sometime before they can even look
Yeah,
at
she
fixing
can't get
it.
the rental car till her
Yeah,
car goes
yeah,
in.
yeah.
Like I
You
said,
can't get
not
it to
get a
you.
car now.
Yeah, my
You can't
suggestion
get it
not
now.
a picture on rental
No.
until you turn the car
Yeah,
into
that's
the
exactly
body
right.
shop.
So that was something that had popped up, so that's why we were thinking maybe let her pay the rental first or something, whatever y'all, and then turn it in, cause we don't know what it's gonna be.
Well, normally when you, if, okay, and another thing, she was saying, meaning that we could file it on insurance, but the amount of it is so low. By the time you pay the deductible, it's $1,000. But this is like $13.77.
She said which one she gonna use?
Well, we had to get quotes on the
Well, according to this quote, Ivy is the cheapest
Yeah,
one.
it's the cheapest one. So ain't no sense filing insurance on $300.
Yeah, that's what I was
We got so
saying.
many claims going right now, we may
Yeah,
drop.
So when
and
she
as far
turn the
as the
car
rental
in,
is concerned,
and we'll get with Ivy whenever she get ready to turn the car in, we'll see how long it's gonna take. And we can go to the enterprise, say, look, we got to put her in the car for 5 days, how much will it be?
well, normally when you do that, with the adjuster does basically the same thing.
I
They
thought
call, they
we
have to
gonna
call.
file it.
That's what y'all need to tell
See,
me.
we don't
I
file
don't
it,
know. I
then we
can't
gonna
make
have to
that
take
call.
the responsibility.
Well, that would be a question for the council.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Do you all want to file the claims, or do we just pay this out?
I just really pay it out, ain't $1,300.
Yeah, surely we got $1,000 deductible, you know.
Yes,
Now, at least they claim.
It'd be a
Yeah,
waste of a claim.
Yeah, it's a waste of a claim, but, I'll take into consideration too, that we're gonna pay that, which is the cheap, I'm throwing out the cheapest one, which is $13.77, plus whatever the rental.
Exactly.
And
Do we have an option to choose the cheapest, given that it's certain people?
she said, yeah, she didn't you say she said, ICC told?
Pardon?
Didn't you just say she said this one here, what ran? Oh,
I'm just asking,
Oh.
I mean,
she got a right to choose whatever she
Yeah,
wants.
she can choose whichever one she wants to, it's her car.
Yes, her car.
You know,
But either or, it's still ain't $1,300 or $1,900.
yeah, either or, you know,
Yeah.
we still gotta be paid.
And I think the rentals up down at least like $35 a day for a rental. And you do like 5 days. I mean, we ain't gotta put it in the, you know. Then it's just a 2019.
I mean,
16.
okay with us choosing, yeah, we'll go with
We'll go with
ICC.
Yeah.
That's where she chose.
Yeah, if these two bid, if these two are open, then,
And she presented these two bids.
Okay.
These were her
She
choices.
did.
Those were her choices. We can do that.
okay, good, so,
We'll take it out when she turn the claim, then we'll see about getting over.
Okay, so we just need to get clarification on that before we move forward.
So y'all gonna say pay her before she even gets the bids?
No,
No.
no.
Let's
No,
put that in
I was-
clear.
We're not doing that.
I was told to pay her, that's why I brought it down.
No, not pay her.
Do not
We
pay
gonna,
anything, do
we
not
not-
reimburse anything till it's been fixed.
when we get ready to pay, we're
She
gonna write
told
the
you
check
to
out
pay
to
her?
You
whoever
wrote me a note,
fixing
told
the
me to write
car.
her a check. That's why I suggested putting it on the council, you know. You had wrote me a note telling me we can pay her, and I said I couldn't, that's why I suggested putting it on the council, so that's why I want to get cleared up.
Therefore,
For these reimbursements she's asking, that's why I suggested putting it on the council in general. You got a note?
I don't, you gotta resubmit that note. No, she has to.
That's why I suggested putting it on here.
Yeah, you gotta share that note.
Yeah, I got it. All right.
No, I told you to check her claim, make
So
sure.
do not pay
Oh, she had been
anything.
calling. She had been calling about her claim.
Do not pay anything until it's repaid.
Yeah, to the repair completed.
Yeah.
Then when she turn the car in, and we'll just try to go to Enterprise, so when you run.
And your rental bill, Ms. Turner.
To me, you would think that you would pay for the, repairs, and then it would be, the deal with her is to get the rental car, and get reimbursed for that.
For her paying,
Yeah, I mean.
paying for the repair.
No.
When she brings us the invoice for the repair that's been done, we pay that,
or when it goes in the shop and they say, this is how much it's gonna be. Okay, here's our check. Now you need a car.
It won't go to her, it'll go directly to.
Right,
yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
No,
Is-
how that typically works, when someone come in with a claim like that, isn't the insurance, don't they file that on the insurance
Typically, right?
Yeah, I mean.
Typically, that's what they do.
But
But
we don't pay this out.
But this
We
was
have
just,
a- we have a choice.
yeah.
Okay,
We've just got so many claims right now, everybody's scared that if we turn in any more, we're gonna lose our insurance.
That's not set in stone. Don't say that if that's
It
not set in
could
stone. No,
happen,
it's not.
but-
No, it's not. Don't say that it's not
Because
set
it's
in
happened
stone.
before,
No, it
but
hasn't.
when it's something this small, we normally bring it to council to see if they want to just pay it outright without putting it on insurance.
yeah, I think the only thing we're discussing right now is the rental car.
Well, that, we're trying to get the minutes clarified.
Well, what I was saying was, we pay for the repair for the car, and she goes and gets the rental car, and then ever how much
Reimburse
time
her.
she needs, she pays for it, then she brings us the invoice and says, I need to be reimbursed for this, and then we pay for the rental car, because what's gonna happen with the rental car is they gonna want her name on it anyway, and all of her information, and, so that way she's just settling up with them, and then we settle up with her. And to me, it seems like everybody works out happy that way.
And that's a good way to do it.
And that
because
is
you
a good
gotta-
way.
That is
You
something,
gotta-
given the fact that, yeah, that she's.
Well,
not-
she ain't got the money.
Yeah, given the fact that we can't pay that outright, so.
And we can just give her a check up front and just let her go get the rental car on land. We find out how much it'll be and just give her the check.
But you gotta find out where she gonna rent the car from.
That's what I'm saying, it's gonna be up to her, she find out what she wanna rent, how much it's gonna be, and we just cut her a check.
No, she has to bring that in.
Right, what if she, well,
Yes, that's what
what
I'm
if the
saying.
body shop gets held up and she needs it for a few more days? We done cut a
She
check
gonna-
to somebody, that's why I said, let her pay for it for as long as
That's-
she needs it, and then she comes back up here and says,
Just
hey, I
real-
needed it for
Yeah.
2 weeks.
We just have to find out, can she afford to do that?
That's the only thing.
Well,
We hit
I
her.
mean, I get that, but you know, if I have a wreck, heck, I can't necessarily afford my deductible, but guess what? I'm gonna have to figure out a way to make it happen. When you're involved in an accident, it's unfortunate, and I hate it, and I'm not trying to throw a burden on her, but what I'm saying is, in the fairness of it and in the protection of the city, we say, hey, you go find a rental car that you want and that you're happy with paying it out of your pocket, and when you're done and turn it back in and it's $300, you bring that invoice up here to us and we'll stroke you a check. Here you go, here's your money back. So you're not out.
That's a different scenario now, you saying if you had to wreck. Now, if I hit you, then I gotta give you a car, I gotta be at your business.
Yeah, but
If
this,
you hit me, then that's
it's
different.
still gonna be an inconvenience to me.
Yeah,
but
but
you can't.
you know, that's gonna be on you.
The person that's not liable.
Yeah, but we're not filing it on insurance, we're paying out of our pocket.
That's the choice we chose.
Yeah, we in the
We
wrong.
made it.
Well, I ain't saying we in the wrong.
You know, I'm just saying, we are in the wrong in this right here.
Yeah.
Well, it was an accident, right?
Yeah, but who?
And I'm saying that's fair. That seems fair to me.
Man, if she would go for that, Cliff, if she would go for that, hey, I'm all in. But we also got to address the point. What did she say she just can't afford that? You see, I mean, offer it. And then it will solidify everything in one package. But what if she says she can't afford it now? Then where would we go?
Well, if you can't afford the rental and you have to get somebody to carry you back and forth, how much is that worth?
That's not.
But that's not what it is, when the phone is on the city, that's the bottom line, the phone is on the city. And we really don't,
And rental company.
we really have no mercy, because it's on the city. you know, there's nothing we can do. We really got to basically go with the way that she go with it, because she didn't do this to us, we did this to her.
Right, I just don't see the point of writing a blank check like what
No,
Rodney was
listen.
talking about.
I don't agree with writing no blank check.
No, not a blank check.
We say writing a blank check, we said get the numbers and whatever the numbers come out, that's what.
Well, then the mayor said, no, she's got to bring an
Yeah,
invoice up here.
what she can do is she can go to the rental place and get whatever it's gonna be, amount for them 3 days. If it's anything over those 3 days, she will be responsible for paying it until she bring it back like that. We can, if she would have to bring that invoice to us first, before she go to the, enterprise, to wherever she rent the car from, they'll give her a
That
printout.
gets back to your argument, what if she can't afford to do that?
Do what?
What if we pay her for 3 days and then she comes back and says, well, I had to get 3 more days because the body shop got held up and I didn't have the money for it. Now we're back at the same thing, you see what I'm saying?
My point is with this, and like I say, your idea, the first one, I love it. But you got to accept the fact that that's not totally left up to us. That's all I'm saying. So if she would do that, that's why I say I would love to take the lesser, and I'm glad that she bought the 2. You see? And so if she can solidify that, hey man, that's a win-win. No argument with that, none whatsoever. But you know, and to go ahead and wrap this up at the same time, plan B is if she comes and says she can't. Then you may can do it for 3 days, whatever the repair shop says they estimate the time of repair is. And then the start date, you know, like I said, that could even linger, but at least you got something to get started. And the numbers should match up with the time that the vehicle was in the repair shop. So
Yeah, they don't want to run it over, I know.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, offer that first and see if she's willing to. She may have credit card. Some people may not have. I don't know. If she can put it on a credit card and you can get it, if you're talking about 3 days transaction or something like that, that's no problem. I mean, I'm game for that. That's an awesome presentation. I would take that first.
I didn't see it in the quote, did you? She said she would put it in there, but she may have forgotten it, or maybe it's not gonna take 3 days. I talked to Christy myself,
I didn't see
but
it.
I didn't see it in there. Yeah, but she said she didn't see it taking any more than 3 days, but she wanted to talk to her husband first. But she said she would include the quote, but I didn't see the rental quote days.
And she may not, look, she may not even need it.
Exactly, it may not
Right.
be just to be
She may
right.
just be satisfied with us repairing the vehicle.
Right.
So, but the thing is, present it like, whereas we're not gonna punish her for having, for us being at fault. You
Well,
know, see,
and I'm not, I didn't mean to come across as I was
I'm not saying
punishing
you,
her.
I'm not saying you are, that's why I say I agree with that. But what I'm saying, you know, is that make it as appealing as possible. If she's satisfied with this, we may not have to come out of pocket anything else. It may be a shorter tenure. But yeah, offer that just laid on the table, and then let's go from there. We're good.
So need to put this in the form of a motion.
Let's go ahead.
I make a motion that we don't file it on the insurance, just go ahead and pay, London Thomas for the damages on whatever quote she decided to use.
I say.
And the rental car.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Y'all need to get clear.
I'll say
But-
that.
Can I clarify? Can I get some clarification? Because now I'm confused. The motion is to pay her the money?
No, pay the, whoever she chooses out of the two. Yeah, if she chooses. I had to say collision and she go to somebody else. So I just said one out of the 2 estimates that she, tried in.
Pay directly to the
Directly
person
to
doing the repairs
whoever she
and not to
chooses.
Melinda.
Not to Melinda.
All right, let's clarify that in the motion. Is that what you needed to hear?
Yes, thank you.
All right, Rodney, say it again.
I make a motion that we pay the body shop of her choice.
Yeah.
And that she gets a rental car also.
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
All not in favor by saying no? All right? No. Okay, next we have, water leak adjustment request.
You just second, hold on. exhausted. Okay, we have one water leak adjustment request from Miss Debbie Austin for a 2-month adjustment. The March bill was $107.51 for 12,956 gallons of water. April bill, $102.79 for 12,240 gallons. She usually has an average usage of 2,600 gallons and an average bill of $41.43.
That was Deborah.
Debbie Austin at
Debbie.
127 Walnut Street.
Can you get a motion?
I make a motion that we, give Ms. Debbie Austin her water leak adjustment.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor by saying aye? All not in favor by saying no. Okay, next we have the Georgia Municipal Employee Benefit System. Approved adoption agreement and orders.
He'll do that. He's gonna review it, if he's ready.
There's an old numbers in it. Did you have that old one?
I do, got it marked in here. Actually, there's a resolution and an ordinance, but I do have the ordinance here.
Did you read it?
Yeah, we do this every 2 years.
Yeah.
We got any information on this?
It's about,
I mean,
that's why we always let him review it and
Yeah.
put it, this whole packet. That's why we always turn it over to him, any ordinance or anything, him to review, and he reiterates it, breaks it down for us.
I'm just glad you don't get a smile.
I
I didn't know he smiled.
Look at that packet, you make it smile.
I'm just picking.
It's due no later than May 20th.
So tell me what is it? You said it's a benefit.
He's gonna go over it.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yes.
okay.
She gave me that information, she sent to her judge.
It's falling out of his
She
toe.
said there's no, she can drive, her car is driving it, so there's no need to have her car. And also it's cheap paying, he said his car's completely drivable. I meant too hall, whatever. It's the other one, yeah, too hall. Sorry about that.
You know you're right. It's at 11 o'clock. It's at 11 o'clock. PM.
It's okay, I got it. But that's when I reached out to you, so I think we might really consider taking the council, because it might
Yeah, don't cut that off. Man, good God Almighty.
so much everything.
What's up, the 20th?
Selling ammunition, they have to come out of war.
Well, if we adopted on the 20th, it might would suffice. She does say upon adoption, I can just email it back to her.
Yeah, same, same.
It just said due no later than the 20th, May 20th.
What's the third?
So,
The third.
next
The
meeting,
next meeting is the 20th.
next Monday is the 20th. So I could email it
The
again.
next
If we
Monday.
had to wait till the next council meeting,
That would be the deadline.
I could email it that night.
If we got push coming in, sure, we do a call on me.
I don't know. That's what we did. Yeah.
But I think the resolutions are done, I think that we just have to agree to, try to get, I think I get it now. It's just a huge file. The city of Gordon previously adopted Georgia Municipal Employees Benefits System, GMEBS, defined benefits retirement plan, which is comprised of the basic plan documents and adoption agreements. Plan is considered a qualified plan under the Internal Revenue Code, which is important to ensure the tax exempt status of the trust fund. To protect the plan's tax qualified status, GMEBS files draft restated plan documents updated to reflect the recent amendments that comply with the changes in the federal tax law of IRS from June 9th, 2022. On August 31st, 2023, the IRS issued a favorable opinion letter, IRS opinion letter for the restated plan document. The IRS opinion letter provides assurance to employees providing retirement benefits for their employees through the GMEBS plan. The GMEBS is maintaining a qualified pension benefits program that allow employees to accrue benefits tax-free until retirement benefits are dispersed to them. To ensure the continued tax qualified status for all GMEBS member retirement plans, all participating employers must re-adopt their plans using the most recent IRS approved adoption agreement. To that end, we have completed the attached adoption agreement to include the benefit and eligibility provision that we currently have in place. The draft documents acceptable, please have the designated representative sign and date where indicated. Next, please scan and email the documents to Julie Gresham no later than May 2024. We will then countersign and return the electronic copy. Please note GMEBS will not execute documents that have been edited by the city. If the adoption agreement requires revision, please let us know before adopting it. The draft adoption agreement will take effect on the date it's approved by the governing authority. We have also attached a copy of the restated basic plan amendment 1, which do not need to be adopted by the city. Finally, it includes summary of the key amendments to the plan, which I reviewed all that. And there is this is just the back page of the ordinance. There's a resolution of the Board of Trustees, Georgia Municipal Employees Benefit System, and that's the resolution, but that is their resolution from GMEBS, which they've already done and signed. There's a summary of amendments, which the summary is the summary of the amendments that they have provided, and those are: on August 31st, 2023, the IRS issued a favorable opinion letter for the amended, restated third 6-year cycle Georgia Municipal Employees Benefit System, defined the Benefits Retirement Plan, DB Plan, or the plan. Plan, as approved, incorporates required federal law updates as well as administrative updates adopted Board of Trustees GMEBS over the last several years. The IRS requires that each adopting employer sign an updated DB Plan adoption agreement and addendum if applicable. A summary of the key changes to the basic plan document. Participating employers have already been apprised of the content of all amendments adopted by the board before August 31st, 2023. However, during its review, the IRS required GMEBS to include additional amendments in the restated plan documents. The following information summarizes those amendments, as well as Amendment 1 to the basic plan document, which approved by the Board of Trustees, which was approved on September 22nd, 2023, what I just referred to there as their resolution. Change from the master plan document to the basic plan document. The IRS changed its terminology from pre-approved plan document from master plan document to basic plan document. Removal of outdated language. GMBS amended the plan for administrative purposes to move provisions that were no longer in effect or no longer applicable. Minimum age limits for in-service distribution. As general rule, employees or elected officials may not draw retirement benefits while employed. The basic plan document states that if a plan allows in-service distribution, a participant must be at least 62 years of age or satisfy certain safe harbor age and service combinations established in the IRS regulations to receive retirement benefits while employed. If the plan allows in-service distribution and has an alternative normal retirement provision with a minimum age of at least 50, specifically for public safety employees, or that satisfies certain IRS safe harbor age and service qualifications that apply to public safety employees who are eligible for the alternative normal retirement may receive in-service distributions even if they are younger than age 62. Though Congress amended federal laws in 2019 to allow the plan to set normal retirement ages at the age of 59 and a half, the IRS's opinion letter for the DB plan specified it would not apply to plans that allowed in-service distribution at ages younger than 62 or 50 for public safety employees, or that did not satisfy one of the IRS safe harbor for in-service distributions. As in prior restatements, GMBS plans that currently have in-service distribution provisions that don't meet these requirements will have the opportunity to file for separate IRS approval of these provisions. The in-service distribution means a distribution of normal or alternative normal retirement benefits without a bona fide separation from service. A bona fide separation from service in a separation from service excuse me, is a separation from service of at least 6 months with no expectation of returning to service. Next, removal of public employment related crime provisions. At the request of the IRS, GMBS removed language concerning the reduction or forfeiture of a participant's benefits following a final conviction of public employment related crime from the basic plan document. State law requires a reduction in or forfeiture of retirement benefits if a participant is convicted of public employment related crime, which still apply but are no longer mentioned in the plan documents. Clarification on this, I think that's important because it's not mentioned, so everybody needs to know that this still state law does apply, but it's not in the document. Clarification of process for locating an individual owned benefit. As required by the IRS, the restated basic plan document details the steps an employer offering the benefits under the DB plan must take to locate an individual to whom benefits are owed under the plan. These steps include searching plan-related and publicly available records or directories for alternative contact information, sending certified mail to the individual's last known mailing address, reaching out through appropriate means for address and contact information such as email addresses and phone numbers available to the employer, and using either commercial locator service or a credit reporting agency or internet search tool to find the individual. Next, federal tax law updates. The basic plan document contains several federal tax law updates, including allowing rollovers to simple IRAs in certain situations, updating mortality table language related to annual benefit limits, and allowing employers to amend the plan as necessary to satisfy Section 415 of the Internal Revenue Code, even if doing so impacts the benefits. Voting representative trustees. GMBS updated the language in the basic plan document designating employers voting representatives for GMEBS purposes to be consistent with GMEBS bylaws. The language provides that unless otherwise directed by the employer's chief executive, a GMEBS trustee will be considered his or her employer's designated voting representative. For all other employers, the chief executive or administrative officer will be the employer's voting representative. Use of a trust fund asset. The basic plan document stipulates that trust fund assets can be used to pay reasonable fees, taxes, and expenses of the plan and trust. Reversion of assets in the event of planning termination. Per the request of the IRS, GMEBS amended the basic plan documents to state that in the event the employer's plan is terminated, excess trust fund assets remaining after paying all vested accrued benefits to all participants can only revert to the employer if the excess was due to an actual error. Added language to the adoption of the agreement regarding compliance with federal law when the employer has more than one defined benefits retirement plan. Per the request of the IRS, the adoption agreement contains a new Section 15G concerning Section 415B of the Internal Revenue Code. When an employer has more than one defined benefits retirement plan, this provision will be blank in most GMBS employers' adoption agreements. Adjusted minimum age for commencement of retirement minimum contributions. The Secure Act of 2019 and 2022, Secure 2.0, raised the age at which participants have to start drawing retirement benefits. These changes were not included in the restated basic plan documents revised by the IRS. However, on September 23rd, 2023, the Board of Trustees of GMEBS adopted Amendment 1 to the restated plan to implement these updates. Currently, a terminated vested participant must retire no later than April 1st following the date the participant turns 73. Stating in 2033, a terminated vested participant must retire no later than, starting in 2033, a terminated vested participant must retire no later than April 1st, the following date of the participant turns 75. So that's it. Those are the summaries, and that's, like I said, it is extensive. I mean, that's the real executive summary of this extremely extensive document, and that is essentially what they're asking you to approve. If you don't have any objections to that, I don't know that you would, because it's probably Greek, but there's a lot of tax code laws, and mostly what it is except for folks like me who, have to review all this stuff, mostly what it is dotting your eyes. It's a ministerial duty, really, is to keep this thing going as the city. You have to do your due diligence, which I have done, and then you have to, authorize it, sign it, approve it, and file it, and give it back so that the tax code and the strictures of the law can be met, unless there's some objection to continuing on with this plan. But I mean, I imagine you probably want to put something out real quick if you're going to start interfering with people's pensions and stuff like that.
Okay. So you have you have it.
Yep.
Where we,
it's right here. That's the back page of the ordinance that would need to be signed. The resolution's already done and signed by them, and so that's all that really needs to happen is that they approve those amendments as summarized and as reviewed by myself, and to allow the mayor to sign the ordinance to make those effective.
okay. So do you all want to look at this? motion?
Make a motion to approve the employee benefit system that Jim just read out.
Can we put ordinance in there?
Yes, ma'am. Why not? It needs another
Hey.
word.
This has to be the first reading of an ordinance. You have to do it twice for it to be effective. So you can only do the first reading tonight and then vote on it next time when the second reading comes up.
Okay.
We'll do it again on the 20th.
20th.
Then, yeah.
Can
To set
do
the
I make a
first
motion
reading
to
of
First
pre-approve?
reading.
You gotta read it again.
The second.
At the next meeting.
You can wait.
Why, everybody will call in sick to that one.
To set the first reading of this ordinance.
Can we get a second?
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor saying aye? All not in favor saying nay? So before we sign this, we're gonna have to have a second.
Some of them asked to sign the first, but it doesn't on this list, the final
Just
approval
one.
on this one.
Mhm. So we're gonna wait,
I'll
we'll
stick
wait.
it back, put it on the
Yeah.
next agenda.
Okay. Next we have, LMIG 2024 supplemental 20, and LMIG 20 supplemental 2024 into 2025. Tim Ingram had expressed to us that we have not really just, said what we're gonna do with it, the supplemental. So, we need to be thinking or suggesting, as to some things that we need to use the LMIG for. So, from my understanding that, they just opening up the LMIG this time for the 2025, year, it's not gonna be matched. So that's just straight money we don't have to match, that we're gonna apply for. But the thing is, everybody's applying. So we need to go ahead, he expressed that, you know, that we need to go ahead and apply so that we'll be able to get those funds. So we need to come up with what we want to, I think what is necessary is that he has to know what we're gonna use it for.
So Pine Lane and Rosewood Patch and, Green Street. We got a barrel in that hole. That will get deep.
Does anybody know how much we're getting?
It's, I think it's 250.
250,000.
Don't quote me on that. I have to go back and look
Because the
at that.
regular LMIG.
Yeah.
is
57,000.
Yeah.
57,
no.
58.
Well, we're talking about two different ones.
Okay.
The supplemental is the 57,000.
I think the one we
That's
just
what
got
you're
was around that amount.
57.
I don't know how much the supplemental is, but I wouldn't think it would be as much as the.
Now, we haven't applied
I
for
don't
the
know.
2020, he's in the process of applying for the 2025 LMIG, but the supplemental is what we're gonna.
But we sure need to go over there and look at Green Street,
And this for roads only?
man.
I talked with Mr. Sammons,
Mm.
his name is Sammons, and he gave me a list, and I'm gonna share that with you all, of the different things that we can, use the LMIG for. I don't know if it's not just roads only, I know that much.
Well,
But that's
and
what we
these
need.
are this
Yeah.
gonna be different than the people that's supposed to be working now?
You talking
Laying
about
pipes and stuff, yeah.
Yes,
It's
I'm-
different,
Yeah,
CDBG
this is-
and
yeah.
LMIG
That's
can't be
CDBG.
combined.
Okay,
Yeah, this is
okay,
different.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I was just
there's a
asking.
CBDG, this one is the LMIG.
So you're gonna get us that information so we
I
know
can give
what
it to you.
else we can,
Mhm.
Yeah.
we don't know, I don't know what we
We
can do.
definitely get the roads, we don't, yeah, that's
Like
why
I
I
said,
don't
I
know.
think using the sidewalks can be used
Them
for.
kids was jumping in and out
And-
there.
I'm not 100% sure.
And we was talking about needing a sign, you know, that flashing sign going in that curve right there by that school. He said we can use it for that.
Well, I noticed that the other day. There's not even a school zone sign, period, out there. Like, nothing acknowledging there's a school there.
But when when
I mean,
talked
even a plain sign, like, you know,
Yeah.
there's nothing.
nothing there. And it
Nothing.
should have been.
It looked like the school would've put something out
You would think it would say something, school zone, a regular sign, but there's not even a regular plane zone out there, nothing.
Yeah, it's not stated right, that's what I asked DOT, because that was the first, I reached out to them. I even reached out to Head Start, program, about, it's over it. And, it's not the state right of way, right? It's not state, it's the city of Gordon. The city of Gordon, so maybe why they don't have that sign there.
We might need to do some of that bridge too. That's still Gordon Bridge. Gordon the city is on the outside of that bridge.
When do we need to make a decision, Mayor, in reference to this LMIG?
We need to do this as soon as possible. We wanted to have it done before the end of this month.
Okay, can you perhaps email us?
I can put it in, I can email it to you. I can put it in your box.
Therefore, we can be ready at the next council meeting to determine what we want to utilize.
Sounds good.
But we still got to give him the okay to go ahead and do a supplement.
I thought she just said you need to know what it is that we need to use it for.
Yeah. On both of them, we're gonna have to figure out what we're gonna need to use it for. But I think we need to just be coming up with some ideas as to what.
I know the road is one. I ain't grinding lane, you say we need to do something with that, so that's gonna be a big project. That might take all of it.
No.
Don't own it.
Huh?
City don't own it. It's private property.
It's not. That's what we're working on now, is as far as we're searching the deeds and all that good stuff. Because it's been deemed that it's the city's property. So we gotta,
It looks to me like it is in some Gordon Trust.
It looks like what?
so we don't know if it's our property, or we don't know if it's from the assessor's standpoint of view, it's the city of Gordon. But with Attorney Green searching, he has found some stuff that it could be in somebody else's. So
You don't mind if I say,
Go ahead.
the fountain man that used to own that property, he never would agree to any road going in there. We got an easement that we can run our water line and sewage or whatever, and with an easement, you've got the right to go up that road to take care of all of that stuff. But all of that property belonged to a fountain estate years ago.
Well, let me ask you.
Yes, ma'am.
Where is, are they still living? Because nobody seems to know.
I couldn't tell you
And that
no
road
way.
is, people, is somebody living back there? Because if the mail carrier is going back there, if somebody's living there, right?
Yes, somebody lives in that very full the house back there.
So
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
what he's searching now, because we're getting calls from the mail carrier. She's really disgusted because she can't get back and forth. I've been there.
About E.E. Miller estate.
E. Miller?
E.E. Miller. And the Grimes folks had apparently a 1/2 acre square piece of property. They deeded them right out in the middle of that E.E. Miller thing. And did not reference any easement back in there too.
Mm-hmm.
But the question is there one by operation of law, because you can't create an island? So there has to be a way into it.
Mm-hmm.
And there had to be some form of road into it to begin with. My gut feeling is that's why they call it Grimes Lane.
That's what I'm talking
Because Grimes is the one that had that 1 acre piece given to him by E.E. Miller. And so it looks like it's been there since like 1920 something. And then it went, there was put in a trust, and Mercer University had some piece of it, and they all deeded it back, and it wound up with Fountain. But I don't know what Fountain did or didn't do. I mean, I guess if Terry, you had discussions with the man.
Because you got that road, Grimes Lane, then you got, what about all them homes that are on that
So
road?
that's like, and that happens a lot with a lot of these properties where, and that is the case here, is that you have a large tract. Ivy's got a big problem with it actually around the lake, because you've got somebody that owns a big piece of property, and then they just carve off pieces and pieces and pieces and pieces and pieces, and then carve off some over here and some over here and some up here, and then at the end, you end up with this thing that looks like this piece of land that's not identified by anything other than the original huge piece of land, less than except this tract, this parcel, this piece, this piece, this piece, this piece, this piece, this piece, 200 pieces that have been taken out of it. That's what it ends up being, and nobody's ever resurveyed the thing, and that's really what you got going on here, is you've got this big piece of land that's been cut up, never resurveyed, and so the remaining piece of land is the tract, less than except everything that's been given out of it, which not the least of which looks to me to be the first piece that was carved out of it. It's right in the heart of the thing to these Grimes folks. Well, it wasn't the Grimes, it was like somebody right before the Grimes, and then it was all this E.E. Miller thing, and then it went to the Grimes. Grimes actually the second piece that got the half acre. It looks like they've had it since early in the, literally 100 years ago.
Okay,
Oh,
so.
Big Charlie Grimes lived
Yeah,
there.
so, it has in Q Public, is listing as, why are they listing it as City of Gold?
Oh, probably because it's an access way that they're not showing any ownership on that. If Mr. Grimes has been there for 100 years, and looks like he has, well, not him, whoever his family, I mean, it looks like there's somebody Grimes still that claims ownership over care of his estate. But there's, if he had that thing and there's been a way to his property for that long, then I imagine over 100 years, people just assumed that's a city road, and
it's been named
Grimes Lane, and yeah, so, but that's where you get into legal theory versus legal realities. So, that's where we're at. It's just nobody's ever done anything in 100 years, but carve stuff out of it. So, but that's where, like I said, the tax assessor, like I said earlier, they have no responsibility over who actually owns what or whatever. They do their best to assume, and over 100 years, I'm sure they just assumed it was a city right away. But,
So what do we do, what do we do what do we need to do?
Well, I don't know, because I haven't fully put the pieces of the puzzle together, although I think I'm pretty close. I think we're there. From what I just told you is, I think I'm pretty well zeroed in that that's where we're at.
Yeah.
And so what it would mean is we would have to go back to Mr. Fountain or whoever's people this is and say, do you want to give this property to us, or do you want to maintain it? You're gonna have to start, there is some implied agreement by everybody that's got property carved off to them that lives on this land, essentially, that was formerly owned by them, and they've got this way carved out of it. I would think, that's what I don't know, but I would think that it wouldn't fall, even though it's called Grimes Lane, it would have nothing to do with the Grimes itself. It would be the parent tract that allowed him access in there. In other words, they gave him what we call implied or prescriptive easement to get into. When they cut that thing out of the middle of his land, you can't, especially in 1930, nobody assumed the dude was gonna hop several hundred acres. Nobody assumed he was gonna fly a helicopter into a half acre of land and land on his property. They knew he had to have a way back in there.
Mm-hmm.
So they gave him what's called prescriptive easement or implied easement access. And more than likely, that access is, my gut feeling is it's been there for 100 years. We don't got Google Maps to go back that far, but my gut feeling is that's the way they've been going into that property for 100 years. Yeah. And so there is what we call prescriptive, and there's enough people that live on it now that they would have prescriptive easement too. But that doesn't mean we have to take ownership over it. In the worst case scenario, if nobody's willing to do anything, we would really send a letter, and we're not willing to take it under our wing to maintain it, is send a letter to everybody who has ownership interest in it and say, your road's unfortunately largely impassable, and we have no duty to maintain it, and the county, I guess we could ask the county if they want to do it. If they refuse to do it, then you are the collective owners of this property, And that's not uncommon. Actually, people do that. They have more road maintenance agreements quite often. I've done several of them for people to divide up property like that and decide they're gonna maintain their own private way through there. But normally you have an agreement with all the owners in advance that we're all gonna share in the freight, we're all gonna pay this money, so.
She think it's the city.
Yes.
They think it's the property of the city, you know.
They've been taking care of that property all these years, they really have. I don't care what they say, but they didn't take care of that property all these years because I came from down there, not out there where she lived, but the paper mill quarter. And they've been taking care of this property all these years. This is the first time I ever heard this to come up.
I'll look and see if I can find a file up, because we've always been told by the prior attorneys that it does not belong to the city of Gordon. That's why it's never been paid, because we wanted to pay it.
But,
I'll see if I can find a
but at the
file
same
up
time,
on
they
that.
should have stopped this a long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
Not wait till
Should've,
now.
yeah.
They should have stopped it a long time ago. And then they wouldn't have ran into this dead end like this.
Yeah.
But I know for a fact that the city took care of that place out there. Mr. Charlie and Miss Nina, that was his wife's name. And Diane came from 8 or 9 kids. And that's where
That's
all
what's on
of,
the deed, Charlie.
and that's where all of them was raised out there till they came out of high school and moved away. But Diane, the only child that
Still
stayed.
there.
And she's still there, and the city have always fixed that road because Mr. Charlie drove the school bus.
Mayor, quick question.
Charlie Brown.
Do we, apply for ARPA this time? The ARPA fund?
Opera's not, that's not,
It's for water sewage only, but it's gone.
yeah.
ARPA's gone.
It hasn't come up anymore. That was just a.
They said it's not
It just
gonna be
happened.
anymore, ARPA funding, is what I've been told. Ours is gone.
We can apply for it, or we,
You
There's
can't
no
apply
more.
for it.
oh, really?
You can't reapply unless it comes open again.
Oh,
That was just a
Has it been open
funding.
this year?
No, no.
They're not gonna open it up again, is what I'm told. That was just during the COVID
COVID,
area.
yeah, that was just
That was
for
just something
COVID.
special, but
Yeah.
yeah, but it's gone, it's
Yeah.
exhausted.
Okay. So we're gonna,
Now, are you
just
going,
check in.
are you going to, once again, are you going to send us all of the other options?
Yes, for the elderly.
Yes, so that we'll come back maybe to, for discussion on
The
that.
things that you can get with me.
Yes, ma'am.
And for my, going forward, is there a consensus from the council? I mean, do you want Grimes Lane if we can get it deeded to us as we need to? or-
Yes, if we can, because
I don't see why you change it.
yeah,
I don't either.
yeah, because, and then the lady keeps complaining about the mail carrier, she can't get down through there because when it gets so muddy, she can't.
Are we gonna have to widen that road if we do claim it?
Probably.
I think that was part of the problem, nobody wanted to donate.
Every city street has to have a 50-foot or either 80-foot right of way now.
That was part of the
And
problem.
see, that's gonna be an expense right there in itself, you know, so, what I mean, either we are or we ain't.
Well, if the people don't, it would probably entail contacting all the owners of the pieces of it now, and getting quick claim deeds from them to us, and then we'd have to bring it to whatever code, or the other option would be to condemn it, because we can do that because it's a public interest, the public, you know, it's in the interest of the public at this point to do it, rather than trying to piece apart and get agreements from everybody. You can just say, this, we've been maintaining this for 50 years at least, and so we're gonna just condemn it and make it ours. But there's a process to doing that, and again, of course, that actually probably is the quickest, cheapest vehicle to doing it, but the only downside to that is twofold. One is that you can tick people off, because now instead of asking them to quit clean their property because we're trying to help them and fix their crappy road, we're taking their property from them, okay? The problem with taking anything from anybody as a government is you now have to pay them fair, just, and adequate compensation for what you took. So,
So if you condemn it,
you gotta pay
have
for
to pay.
it. Yeah.
So you probably have, if you condemn it, you have to rename that street too, right?
No, you can call it whatever you wanna call it, but you can, once it's yours, you can rename it anything you want, but you'd have to pay for whatever you took from somebody, and if it's not ours, it belongs to somebody, and if you take it, then you got it. And I'm telling you right now, that can get expensive out here with KO on these roads and stuff like that.
So no more than we would take.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
All right, Mr. Payne.
In the past, this has come up before, and years ago, used to have a motor grader. We don't have one anymore. County does. But the thing about it is those water lines are only about a foot deep. So the city might talk to them. They'd be willing just put some dirt and gravel in there, and level it out so that it'll make it passable. I mean, that's what they want.
I think that's what, I don't think it's been done, like, it hasn't been done.
Hadn't been done in a long time, but we have done it.
Even with that would help until we can figure out what we're gonna do. I mean, I think from my understanding, the county had been out there to help too, and put some gravel and dirt, Mr. George was saying, and I know they, the public works here has done it. So.
That's all they ever done, they never tell it, yeah.
Mhm.
They always put gravel and dirt out there, that's what it's been all these years that I can remember.
Yeah.
But, they never really did nothing else outside of that to make it passable.
Well, I would just say that to protect our interests moving forward, then if we're gonna do that, I mean, honestly, if we've ever done that in the past, really, if we do it again or not, we should really either get the residents to give us the land, or if nothing else, we need to put all the property owners on notice of what we know now. We need to send a letter of communication to everybody, every property owner, and say, we do not own this road. This is community owned by every parcel along this piece of way. And either y'all need to come up with an agreement to maintain it, or else from this point forward, it's gonna fall apart and y'all ain't gonna have a way into your property because we're not gonna maintain it anymore. And if you refusing to give it to the city and let us maintain it, it's on y'all to maintain, and it's gonna fall apart at some point. You ain't gonna have a way to your property.
Yeah,
you're gonna come asking the city to do it because we've done it before. We're putting you on notice now. It ain't gonna happen again.
Yeah, she don't wanna live back there. Diane is the only one to live back there.
But you got all of them.
You talking about Miss Hacknam house going up there to that.
Everybody from Pine Street
They
up.
usually do a lot of they have in the past done some of their own.
Oh,
But
this is not it.
Diane is the main one that's concerned about her road down there cause she lives so far back in there.
But even when Miss Haddon stayed, it's hard.
It's washing out now?
It's yeah, yeah.
It's just saying.
That's all it is.
Yeah, I haven't been up there in a long time.
So that notice is what we would need.
Yeah, we at least need to notify them.
Yeah.
One way or the other, what we're gonna, because we can't, there's some expectation, I mean, if we're, that's why we're in the position now, I'm sure, because we, and I understand, we've tried to reach a reasonable accommodation, but now it's like, well, the county always comes out here and grades it, you know what I'm saying? So that's where you get into these, and so we need something to say, no, we did it one more time for y'all, but we told you when we did it, the last time we're doing it. So.
All right.
I'll prepare that. I'll try to get it. First, I gotta make sure we don't own it, but I mean, it sounds to me like we plowed this ground and we found out what I believe I have found out, but I've gotta, if I'm gonna do all this, I'm gonna finish it up, dot my i's, cross my t's, and put it all in one file so that next time we don't have to re-plow this ground.
Okay. All right, next we have our next council meeting, May 2024, and the next is adjourned.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
I second.